made the devil and why?
A very valid question. As far as this question is concerned, why God created the devil, the answer to that is, I'll give an example. We have a teacher. A teacher spends 4 months of a term and teaches a student a certain coursework. And after that coursework is complete and he has taught that student everything that he needed to teach and gave him the lectures that he needed, does he not take an exam? Of course he does. Would anybody call that teacher unjust for taking an exam from that child? Okay, well, I've taught you everything.
Yes.
Now I want to know what you remember.
Indeed.
How much did you benefit from all of those lectures that I gave you, from all of those teachings which I provided to you? So too is the case with Allah the Almighty. Allah states in the Holy Quran, فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا, that God Almighty has told us the path of evil and He has told us the path of goodness. I go back to that same statement. We're all in a race. We're at the starting line, and Allah has told us that this is the path that leads to Satan, and this is my displeasure, and this is the path which leads to me. You decide which one you want to take. This is why God Almighty has created two opposite forces to create balance. We have a force of evil which invites to evil and says, come here, do this. This is good for you. This is a life of luxury. Enjoy yourself until you're here. Nothing to worry about. There's no life after death. And then on the other side, you have the angelic forces pushing you and pulling you towards God Almighty. No, you must pray to God Almighty. You must develop yourselves mentally and physically and spiritually. You must bow to that Creator who brought you into existence, as Azhar Sahib has mentioned so eloquently. And when a person makes his decision, based on that he receives his reward or punishment. And this is absolute justice. This is not injustice on the part of God Almighty. If there was no evil force and there was only good all over the place, then a man would not be worthy of reward, because he would not have the ability to commit a wrong deed. But the beauty, the example of taqwa is so beautiful that a spiritual saint, a Sufi saint, has mentioned that taqwa is like having a piece of cloth, a mantle.
But taqwa, just for the...
Taqwa, righteousness. Righteousness, the concept of righteousness can be explained as such. A man has a mantle on top of him, and he has to walk through a thorny set of bushes, and he must save his mantle from getting stuck into those thorny bushes. And if he passes through that, on the other side is God. This is the case with the devil, this is the case with the world, and this is the case. This is why the promised Messiah ﷺ has called this place Darul Imtihan. It is a place where an examination is taking place. And those people who follow the objectives and injunctions of God Almighty shall receive their reward. Those people who choose to take the path of Satan, they themselves are responsible. The Holy Quran says something very beautiful with regards to Satan. Allah the Almighty addresses Satan in a figure of speech and says, Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan, that verily, O Satan, you have no jurisdiction over my rightful servants, illa man ittaba'aka min al-ghawin, except for those people who themselves choose to take a path of misguidance. They will follow you. So we ourselves are responsible for our actions, and we ourselves are responsible for the outcome of our actions.